Oh, Philly kid, wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. What's happening, my friend?
Not too much, not too much. I'm just, I've been stoked all day for such a great show. Richard Marx, Michael Levitt. I mean, how can you do any better than that?
Phil, I gotta tell you, and of course, Suki's off this week. She's on vacation. I see pictures of her and her kids down on the beach, and we have when we started this show, March of 2020 during the pandemic, right? It was kind of like Suki and I just kind of goofing around, having some fun. Celebrities started jumping in, and here we are, 223 shows later. We have had some of the biggest guests in the world coming on, whether they're entertainers, actors, actresses, executive producers, people behind the scenes, magicians from all over the world, for God's sakes.
Yeah, exactly. Tonight's a perfect example of that.
Dude, I'll tell you what. I mean, no bigger Hollywood guy than Michael Levitt, who's coming up in just a few minutes. Live event, reality show producer. He's a dog rescue advocate. And man, oh man, I've never seen anybody go over and above the way he does to rescue and make sure dogs get adopted and find homes. We're going to talk to him about that. We're going to put up a couple of pictures of dogs that can be adopted. He's going to tell us how to go about that. We're going to talk to him about his career. He's been involved with so many shows. And then, of course, Richard Marx. What can you say about Richard Marx? He's a wise ass. We're going to bust his chops when he comes on the show because he's been busting mine. He's got a new book out we're going to talk about, Stories to Tell, it's called, a memoir. He's got some amazing stories. The guy's got a Grammy, on his shelf. And we're going to kick it in. Philly, you ready to rock and roll? Should we hit the open?
Hit it.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
Suki and Scott. That's 7 of Hearts. Woo! Exactly.
This is a sexy show.
Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey as they bring you the Suki and Scott Show.
You guys nailed it. You're great. You ask great questions. You listen.
I answered you because I have respect for you guys, and it was a question respectfully put.
The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro when Kate Pierce. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Ultraviolet light, it gets in there and it just fights the kung flu. Is that right? Okay.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
Yeah, we've been laughing together for a year and a half now. Philly kid, it is so hot here in the New York, New Jersey area. I mean, it feels like it's 105. It's so hot. My agent took his hands out of my pockets to grab a beer. Finally, he got his hands out of my pocket. Listen, were you able to share up the show on your page? Pop it up on your page. We got a lot of things to do, a lot of show to do tonight. Michael Levitt's coming up, live event reality producer, dog rescue advocate. He's got such an amazing career. His production company, my goodness, you look at his credits and the things he's done and the people he's done shows with. It's just phenomenal. Going to be great to talk to him. And then Richard Marx coming up in just a little bit. Also, another guy going to be great. Hey, did you see, Philly kid, you know who didn't get picked to host Jeopardy? You know who didn't get the gig?
No.
Me. I didn't get the gig.
That's hard to believe, man. I mean,
guy by the name of Mike Richards got the job. He's actually one of the producers of the show, and they loved how he filled in and hosted so much. They gave him the gig. So he's going to be the new host of Jeopardy. Right. I thought maybe I should have got a call for that, Philly kid. I thought maybe, I could have blown him away with my personality and game show style.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's I think that's their loss. I mean, 7-time
we'll work it again.
Yeah, 7-time Emmy Award winner, successful, host of the successful Suki and Scott show that's seen around the world with millions of viewers. It's their loss.
You know the closest I came to actually hosting a game show?
No.
Right here.
Hey, y'all, I'm Trish Sir here with WWE's Scott Stanford.
We're a tag team this week on Daily Draw.
We'll see you at 7 right here
on Game Show Network.
That's the closest I got to Game Show Network, Phil. I was doing interstitials for a week. We were giving out money, but it was fun.
You look good, man.
It was good, man. It was good.
Yeah.
Listen, we have a great show coming up. Everybody loading in. All of our guests are here. Denise Michaud from, where's she from? Leamington, Ontario, Canada. 109 with the humidity. Wow, look at her. Everybody, and Rory and Lee Burke, Judy, everybody who joins us every night. Philly Kid, listen, before we get to Michael Levitt, of course, we want to remind everybody the reason we're here, the reason we do this every night is for what? It's for our disabled vets, right? And we want everybody to go to heroforlife.us. The promo code is USA1. That's our personal promo code for the show. And you get all kinds of apparel. All the money goes to disabled vets. It is a great cause. Now, you and I got these shirts. We got a bunch of other shirts. They basically have all kinds of apparel for everybody. For children, boys, girls. It's really fantastic. Let me pop some up here for you. If you go to the site, heroforlife.us, they have everything. They've got backpacks. They've got mugs. They've got hoodies, tank tops. You name it, they have it. And the best part about it is, I tell you, sometimes you order stuff online, the quality of the apparel is crap, right? Heroforlife.us, they have the softest apparel, whether it's shirts or the hoodies. I got to tell you, I'm going to order some more stuff, and I need everybody to go on there as well. It's heroforlife.us. The promo code for us is USA1. You get 20% off right off the bat. And it's an absolutely fantastic cause, Philly. Near and dear to your heart, my friend, disabled vets. And,
exactly. I spent many years in the military. Have many friends who are disabled veterans. I'm a veterans advocate. I try to help these guys get their VA benefits, and any way that somebody can help the disabled veteran community, I'm all for that. And this is one way. If you guys order from this company and get these awesome products, I mean, part of the proceeds go and help my buddies. And so I would just ask you guys to look into it. Go look at the website.
Absolutely, my man. All right, you ready to get this show started? We're busy tonight, Philly. We're busy. I filled up the whole shebang here. I couldn't even put in another picture if I wanted to, or a video. I'm totally full tonight.
Hey, man, that's just a testament to your hard work ethic.
We're going to see if I could pull this off tonight with all the crap I have in this computer. Our first guest tonight, a very special guy, Michael Levitt, big producer in Hollywood, live event stuff, daytime Emmys, Billboard Music Awards, Hollywood Squares. He's done red carpet stuff with Ryan Seacrest. You always see Ryan Seacrest doing the red carpet interviews.
Oh yeah.
One of the shows he produces right now on the Hallmark Channel. He's done it for the last couple of years. American Dog Rescue. And it's one of the first shows. I know he's done some stuff at Fox 2 years back that we're going to talk about, but they dedicate these entire shows to adopting dogs, right? You don't see that all the time in prime time stuff, right?
No.
So here's a little bit of the show that Mike does, and then we'll bring him in on the other side. Take a look.
Snuggling up for a spot in the best in couch potato semifinal group, please welcome your top 16 Great Danes.
I love it. The best in couch potato. Michael Levitt, ladies.
Yes.
Hello. Hey, guys.
Mike, good to see you. Hold on. Let me fix your mic real quick. Let me knock you down a hair. Bobbity boop, bobbity boop. Mike, sing for me a little bit. Let me see what we get going here.
Hello. You want me to sing a Richard Marx song?
I was going to say, sing a Richard Marx song.
Oh,
Get your
gosh.
levels up. Really nice.
Now, I'm thrilled to be his opening act, but that doesn't include singing today.
How you doing, bud? Listen, before I just wanted there was a great article on the American Dog Rescue. They had the following. They said it's better than the Westminster Dog Show for one important reason. It encourages pet adoption. And the categories are great. Best in belly rubs, best in couch potatoes, best in snoring. I'd probably win that one. But it's a phenomenal thing that you've gotten into. And listen, Dog Rescue, Phil and I were both dog lunatics. And I just love it, man. I love what you're doing. And as far as I'm concerned, so listen, I know people always say it all the time. Sometimes we love dogs better than people, right?
Oh, yeah. I'd much rather be around dogs than people. That's for sure. By the way, I would venture to say that I might be, being the dog lover that I am, I might be the only guest on the Suki and Scott show that actually expressed my anal glands before.
Yes. And you're nice and clean.
Am I right?
You're feeling good.
I'm all good for you, my friend.
Yeah, boy. You were scraping your butt across the carpet a little bit?
I'm not gonna lie. I was. I wanted to be perfect for you guys.
Nice. Hey, at least you didn't have to wear the cone.
No cone today. But yeah, it's the American Rescue Dog Show is my pride and joy of all the shows that I've done. It's going to be my legacy, and it is better than the Westminster Dog Show, because on that show they're celebrating the bloodlines and conformation of dogs. On our show, we're celebrating their cuteness in those categories. And it's all meant to inspire people to rescue their next dog, so that when people are watching and seeing these fancy judges in tuxedos in this fancy arena with these perfectly imperfect dogs running around, they turn and say, hey, honey, we should rescue a dog,
Yeah, no, and it's also great. I was also reading about this one right here, the All-Star Dog Rescue that you had back a couple of years ago on Fox.
Right.
And this was the first primetime show that you produced dedicated to the adoption of dogs, which is amazing. How many did you get adopted on those shows?
I mean, I think between all the shows that I've done, we've moved the needle as far as adoptions and shelters all over the country. And I'd venture to say, thousands of dogs. And it really started, you guys, back in 2011 when my sister Jennifer was sadly dying of cancer. And it was at that time that I knew that bringing a dog into my life would be important. And so I said to my partner, I think we should get a dog. And we ended up rescuing Trooper, the white one right there, 4 days before my sister passed away. And she met him. Saw how happy he made me. And I learned firsthand, that adage, who rescued who. And Trooper, he rocked my world and showed me how incredible these beautiful creatures are and why rescuing dogs is so important. And so what happened was a year later, we rescued Nelson, who was the brown dog, Nelson Eddie. And he came from the ACC shelter in New York City. We brought him back. He was a stray in the Bronx, by the way.
Wow.
But now he's a Cali boy, actually out by the pool here in Palm Springs. But these two dogs, they touch my soul. And so what happened was I basically took a year off from producing, and all I did was save dogs. I was in the trenches in the shelters every day, which is great because as a rescuer, I'm saving one at a time. And my hat's off to people who do that. They are the real heroes. But I knew as a producer, I could do so much more. And that's when I came up with the All-Star Dog Rescue Celebration, which I produced with Hilary Swank, and we sold to Fox. And that aired on Thanksgiving night. That was more like a primetime dogathon where celebrities would come on and talk about dogs that were available, and people could go online and apply to adopt them. So that's really what kicked it off. And now, my focus is, I do many kinds of shows, but my focus is really creating rescue themed programming that's going to inspire people to adopt.
Nice. I tell you what, Michael, speaking of, touching the soul, I have a little dog. I've had dogs all my life because I love them. And like most people, hopefully. And he's a little party Yorkie. I mean, he's my little buddy. I love him to death. I mean, he's my best friend. He's a watchdog, my little early warning system. I mean, he's just a great companion.
Yeah.
And, you know, and after all my years in the military, you know, a lot of us veterans have a few things, you know, going on, and, you know, which kind of goes with the territory. And, you know, you talk about rescuing these dogs, and a lot of veterans, you know, they turn to rescue dogs. And sometimes we look at it like, who's rescuing who here? Because, you know, I have a lot of buddies that have service dogs that really help them cope with some of the things going on. And, you know, that's just kind of the nature. These dogs, I mean, they do that mentally, whether you're in the military or whatever you're going through. And I just want to thank you for doing what you're doing, because it's so noble, and it really helps not only the dogs, but, you know, it helps us out too.
Well, Phil, first of all, I want to thank you for your service, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I'll tell you, what you're sharing with me is not foreign. I know through all my rescue advocacy that important connection between the military and especially rescue dogs. In fact, on the All-Star Dog Rescue Celebration on Fox, we honored this incredible organization called Dogs on Deployment, which is based out of San Diego, California. And what they do is they provide fosters for military people that are about to be deployed, because as you probably know, many are faced with that horrible challenge of, I've got to leave the country for 6 months or however long. What do I do with my dog? And this organization actually places them in temporary loving homes. So talk about a great idea. So we honored Dogs on Deployment with Foster Organization of the Year. And then in 2019, I produced the Petco Love Awards, which is Petco's incredible charity. And we honor several organizations on that award show as well. And we honored Canine for Warriors based out of Florida. And you may be familiar, but they pair vets that have PTSD or traumatic brain injury with rescue dogs, and they get the benefit of the rescue dogs, and the dogs get a new purpose, and it's just such a beautiful thing. So hats off to you and all the dogs.
That's great.
Yeah, and thank you for what you do. Yeah, thank you for what you do.
Yeah, this was my boy Shane.
Shane,
who I had for 13 years. He passed away, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. And it was like my son had passed away, and it was such a devastating thing for the family. We still haven't decided whether or not we're going to do it again yet. Just because we were so devastated when the dog passed away. It was like my kid, you know, he was what my buddy. So, you know, we're thinking about it. We're trying to figure out, you know, my wife and I were in and out a lot, so it's hard to really take care of a dog right now, but one of these days I'm going to get back to it. But it's just, it was like 3 summers ago, and the whole summer we didn't want to walk into the house. They couldn't walk into the house.
Yeah, I mean, look, they are family. Dogs and pets are family, and it's devastating. And I have to struggle every day to compartmentalize and not think about that and enjoy my dogs while they're here. Somebody said to me once, and I love this, they said, God made a mistake because snakes live to be like 40 years old.
Right.
And dogs get like 12 and 15. And I just thought that's so true. In fact, when the pandemic started, my partner and I felt like we have 2 dogs. So we had Trooper and Nelson, and we said, that's it. We're a 2-dog household, but we saw that so many dogs were in need during the pandemic, and we stepped up and we actually took in a senior dog named Gino Bambino. That's not Gino. Gino was in another photo that you showed when you were promoting it. No, that's not Gino either.
Hold on. Wait, is Gino here?
Where's Gino on the left? He looks like our dog Archie. But right when we agreed to take Gino, Gino had been in the shelter for 4 years. And just hearing that was enough. And we said, we're going to take him in. And he's a senior. And when we were about to take him in, they called to say, unfortunately, he has cancer. And Mark and I said, we're taking him in anyway. We knew it was going to be his final chapter. We had him for 5 incredible months. And we gave him, he went to the mountains, he went to the beach, he did it all. We spoiled him rotten. And it was hard, Scott. I know what you're talking about. It was horrible, but we would do it all over again because we think what would have happened if we hadn't stepped up for Gino. And in fact, now I'm all about senior dogs. I'm actually on the advisory board for this incredible organization you guys called graymuzzle.org. They raise money specifically to help rescues pay for services for senior dogs. And I couldn't be more proud to be aligned with that organization.
Wow, that's great. So it's almost like instead of obviously when you have a senior dog, you're not going to be able to get insurance on that dog. So they provide some of the benefits.
They do, and they help you in every way. And there's nothing like a senior dog. It's such an incredible experience. In fact, I have to tell you quickly, when I was I don't go to shelters very much anymore because I get kicked out of them because I basically lose my shit when I see people surrendering their dogs. And when I see them, I first intervene and try and help them. And then when I find out that they don't care and they're just going to continue to fill out the paperwork and turn in the dog, I end up yelling at them or whatever and getting kicked out of the shelter. So it was a week before the American Rescue Dog Show, and I was pulling a dog with a friend of mine, and this mother and daughter were surrendering a beagle. I thought they were adopting it. The dog was so cute. And they said, no, we're turning it in. And I said, may I ask you why? And she said, it makes too much noise and the neighbors are complaining and we don't have time for it. And I said, how long have you had this dog? 13 years.
13 years.
There's nothing you can do. We can't figure out how to get the dog on walks. Nope, we're turning it in. So I just said, you know what? May I suggest something to you? May I suggest that for the rest of your life, you never take in another animal because you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
She freaked out on me. How dare you? The head of the shelter came out and he said, if you say one more thing to that lady, I'm going to throw you out of the shelter. And it was like a I Love Lucy episode. I said, fine. Like that. And then he walked away and I said, shame on you. That was it. All hell broke loose. And I got kicked out of the shelter. However, I had my friend go in and pull that dog. And a week later, cut to this primetime show on Fox. Betty White is holding the beagle.
Oh, great.
Meet Daisy, a 13-year-old beagle. And we got that dog adopted into this beautiful home. And I just hope that that person saw this dog on this national show.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's horrible. Great. I mean, I live out here. It's not really in the country, but it's kind of wide open suburban area, a couple acres for each house. And I don't know how many times there would be a stray dog showed up at my door. Obviously had been taken care of because it's in good shape, good dental shape, and everything else. But somebody just comes out here and they just dump it in the neighborhood because they're thinking, hey, somebody will take care of it. And trust me, I've taken care of my share of dogs that have been dumped out here, but it's horrible when people do that. It is.
Well, thank you. I mean, a lot of people think that dogs on shelters are secondhand animals, and that couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is most dogs are there because people have failed them. And when you rescue a dog, you're giving them a second chance at a life they deserve. And that's why we say to people, be a part of the solution by rescuing instead of being a part of the problem by going to a breeder and encouraging them to do backyard breeding. And it just adds to the problem. And when you rescue a dog, the experience is just, tenfold greater because you have this joy of knowing you've given them this life they wouldn't have had if you hadn't stepped up.
Yeah. No, and listen, hopefully if those people have a kid, when it turns 13, they don't give it away because it makes too much noise.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think that all the time. And with the pandemic, it's been interesting because so many people have rescued because they wanted the companionship of these animals, and I'm so thankful. My dogs have gotten me through this pandemic. But now the concern is that as people go back to work, they're going to start surrendering them back at the shelter.
Yeah.
My hope is that if 70% of the people that have dogs keep them, it's a huge win. And so many people have been exposed to rescues and shelters as a result of the pandemic. I think that's been one of the positive things to come out of it.
Yeah, amazing. Michael, listen, we'll show a couple of dogs that you have up for adoption in a second. But listen, you've done so much stuff out in Hollywood, as I was saying. Billboard Music Awards, Daytime Emmy Awards, Hollywood Squares. You teamed up with Henry Winkler, one of my childhood heroes, as the Fonz. Red carpet stuff with Ryan Seacrest. But you have a new one coming out called Meet Your Makers, which is a reality show that's going to air on Discovery Plus in December. And you got some pretty big talent hosting that show, and Leanne Rimes, right? And Chrissy Metz. How do you come to say, all right, these are the two people I want to host this show?
Well, Scott, first of all, you're a total pro, which I expected, but I love how you do your homework. And Meet Your Makers is a really cool competition show that, as you said, will be streaming in December on Discovery Plus. And to answer your question, this is really a great story. So Chrissy Metz, star of This Is Us. So I'm taking you back to 2008. I was producing the TV Land Awards in Sherman Oaks, California. I go into my local CVS drugstore and I'm walking through, and this CVS girl says, "Can I help you?" And she had such a beautiful smile and she was so personable. We struck up a conversation. We start talking. I learned that she just moved here from Florida. She had taken up singing and acting, and I was so charmed by her. And she told me that she loved country music. And I said, you know what? I'm actually doing a show called the TV Land Awards that I produce. We're honoring the show Hee Haw. And I've got Willie Nelson, the Judds, and Katie Lang performing. How would you like to come and be my guest? And she said, are you kidding me? I would die. So I set this girl up with her friend. They came to the show. She drove in her old beat up Datsun that you had to like shift it 14 times. Really funny. She came to the show, had a great time, wrote me a beautiful thank you letter. I forgot about this. And then cut to 2015, all the promos for This Is Us come out. And my former assistant said, Michael, that girl from CVS is Chrissy Metz. And I said, are you kidding me? We reconnected at the Critics' Choice Awards a year later, and we were both nominated. I was nominated for a show, Skin Wars. She was nominated for This Is Us. And ironically, it was at the same venue that we had done the TV Land Awards at. So we said hello, had a warm greeting. That was that. And 5-6 years later, I asked her to host my show, and her agent replied and said, she loves the idea, but she loves you even more.
There you go.
She's in.
Yeah.
It just warms my heart, that story, to see that come full circle. And it just shows you, be a mensch to people. You never know where they're going to end up. And Chrissy is as nice now as she was then. And Leanne Rimes couldn't be cooler. It is such a great show. They have such great chemistry. Mark Montano, who's the craft expert. I feel really good about it, and I can't wait for people to see it.
That's great. Yeah, coming out in December on Discovery Plus. Yeah. That should be a fun one. And the other thing I just wanted to ask you about, Michael Jackson's memorial at the Staples Center years ago, of course, when MJ passed away. You were one of the producers on that show, and just knowing, for us watching at home, it's surreal because it's like you feel like a guy like Michael Jackson, watching him since he's a kid. But for you to actually put that show together, and you guys are looking through packages and your rehearsals and this and that, how surreal was that for you? Holy Christ, I'm doing this Michael Jackson's funeral basically. What was he, 50 when he passed away, or about
something
50?
Like that, yeah.
Right. I mean, obviously gone too young. It's like, and here you are, you're responsible for putting this funeral on television together. That had to be surreal for you.
Yeah. So I never expected anything like that to come my way. Ken Ehrlich, who is a mentor of mine and a legendary producer of the Grammy Awards, among many beautiful and highly regarded shows, was the one that the Jacksons initially called to help put this memorial together. And then, of course, the legendary and brilliant Kenny Ortega, director, creative director, and choreography, who has such a long history with Michael.
High School Musical, right? High School Musical.
Yes, High School Musical. Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
So many great shows. He's a legend, like Ken. And they were the first calls that the Jackson family made. And I saw, it was 2 days after Michael passed, and my phone rang, and I saw Ken Ehrlich on my phone, and I knew why he was calling. And he said, "I need your help. Can you meet me down at the Staples Center in an hour and a half?" So 2 hours later, I'm in a conference room with the Jackson family and with Ken and Kenny, and I'm literally writing on a napkin and paper a scratch version of a rundown. We had 4 days to put it together. It was unprecedented. You know, 1 billion plus people around the world were going to be watching, and we had to pull this together in record time. And it really put our production skills to the test. It was bittersweet, as you can imagine, really, really sad, but really beautiful to be in the company of all these people that really knew Michael intimately and helped them, you know, execute their vision of really doing justice to him by putting together this beautiful memorial. And I'm really proud and honored to have been a part of it.
Yeah, no, that was great. I mean, listen, you had to do it respectfully, and it was and it was almost an entertainment for us at home watching what was going on. So it was kind of, you know, double. You had to balance that line, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, nice. Hey, Michael, you know, you've been a producer for 30 some odd years. I mean, you're still going strong, obviously, you know, lots of awards. And if you were going to give somebody a piece of advice, if you were going to give the young Michael Levitt a piece of advice just starting out, what would that be?
Well, I actually get asked to speak at schools quite a bit, and I love it. I go back to my own high school quite often. And I love to mentor young people. It makes my job really rewarding. And I think what I would say is a few things. One is, you know, have a work ethic. It is, you know, I worry about the generations coming up behind us, because so many of them, unfortunately, I don't think really have that work ethic. You know, it's that millennial mentality that we hear about. Not all millennials, but many, where they think it all comes to them. And I always, when I was coming up, I never freaked out about where I'm going to be in 5, 10, 15 years. I just focused on working hard today, making my boss's job easier so that they could check things off their list. And I knew that if I could do that, that would lead me to my next opportunity and open doors. And it has. So that's one thing, a good work ethic. I would say also, you know, in the era of social media, be thoughtful about what you post and what you say, because it doesn't go away and people look at that. And I would also say to people, younger people, look up from your devices, look people in the eye, be personable, and write handwritten thank you notes, because people don't do that anymore.
No.
So when somebody takes time out of their busy day to mentor you or give you an opportunity, write them a handwritten note. They will be blown away, and I guarantee you that will make a huge impression.
That's it. Got to be in the moment. Michael, listen, let's take a couple minutes.
Sure.
Richard Marx coming up in just a few minutes. Michael Levitt here with us. Live event reality producer, dog rescue advocate. The guy has basically done everything you could do in Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. And he's taken up this mission to rescue every dog in America. And Michael, if you could do it, you'll be a hero. But we have 4 dogs I want to put up who are up for adoption right now. And hopefully, you know, not only the folks who are on Facebook, but our show airs on several different platforms, you know, Crackle Plus and Stir and all these different places.
Love it.
We're reaching about 3 million people a month, so hopefully we'll get at least these four guys adopted. So
amazing.
I'm gonna throw up a couple of them. You tell us about them and tell us how the people can get involved and take them off your hands.
Okay, let's do it. Say hello to sweet Ginger May. She's a 2-year-old peanut made of all the good stuff. Ginger May was about to be euthanized when a shelter volunteer reached out to us and begged us to save her. They knew there was something special and amazing about this little girl, and boy, were they right. Ginger May is all tail wags and slappy smooches. She's a dog. She is dog friendly and is immediately BFFs with everyone she meets. She's got the wiggliest bum, beautiful green eyes, and white little Grinch feet. To adopt her, you can find out more at nycsecondchancerescue.org, or all these dogs are going to be posted on my Instagram, which is Michael Levitt _1. Second Chance Rescue is a wonderful, you probably know, very credible rescue in the New York City area.
I told my wife she had the wiggliest bum, but I guess the dog beat this one out.
And by the way, I know you guys know this, but listen, I have 3 pitties. They are incredible. They are so bright, and give them a chance. They will, once you get a pitty, you will always want to have a pitty. All right. Please meet Jet, a 1-year-old lab Chihuahua. Jet came to Rocket Dog Rescue in the San Francisco Bay Area with broken leg and jaw, but all he wants to do is love you and be a good boy. Heated and happy, Jeff just needs a family that can healed and happy. Jet just needs a family that can give him love, exercise, and training. Jet rides well in cars, is good on a leash, and has mastered sit. It would be so amazing to get Jeff into a home that can help him thrive and become the best dog he can be. That's Rocket Dog Rescue in the Bay Area to learn more.
All right, got one more here. Gwendolyn, 3-year-old Puggle.
Gwendolyn. Okay, Gwendolyn is with Big Dog Animal Rescue in the LA area. And bear with me. Gwendolyn was a pregnant mom. She was taken to the emergency vet because the puppies were stuck in her birth canal. 5 of the 6 dogs made it. This mother is, so many times people rescue the puppies and they don't save the mom. Lisa Arturo, who runs Big Love Animal Rescue, was frantically trying to find a vet to perform the C-section. When Gwendolyn was finally admitted to the vet, her C-section and medical bills totaled $4,500. Luckily, 5 of the 6 puppies were saved. She loves riding in cars, going for walks, and being with people. If you are in Southern California and you want to know more about Gwendolyn, go to bigloveanimalrescue.org, or again, go to my Instagram, Michael Levitt _1, where I posted all of these dogs.
Right on your Michael. Listen, man, you're amazing. Thank you so much. What I was telling Sharon Olson, who got you on the show, and she works with us out in LA.
Legendary Sharon Olson.
Legendary. Forget it. Solid Gold.
You never say no to Sharon when she calls.
Arsenio Hall show. Sharon's done it all.
She's a rock star.
She's a rock star. I said that one day you should come on with us. We'll do like an hour. Me, you, Suki, Phil. We'll do an hour of just putting pictures up, showing some videos, and getting some dogs adopted.
Let's do it.
We'll definitely do that. And I'm going to leave you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, by the way, it's a great segue that you have me on with Richard, because Richard and his lovely wife, Daisy, are also huge animal advocates and involved in rescue, and they're wonderful people. I don't know them well, but I have met Richard. In fact, performed on an NSYNC special that I produced back in the day.
Nice.
But they're wonderful dog-loving people, so it's a great pairing today.
That's right. I think he wrote an NSYNC song too, right? He worked with NSYNC, wrote one of their tunes. We're gonna listen. He doesn't know it yet, but he's giving us like a 2-hour concert.
I'm looking forward to it.
He thinks he's coming on for like 5 minutes, but he's got a lot to talk about. But
good for you.
Listen, Michael, thank you so much, my friend. We're gonna do that. I definitely want to do that, and sooner rather than later.
All right.
We're gonna do a whole show, and I'm gonna leave you with one of your TikToks that you recently posted, because you are a dog guy all the way, even with your mother. Michael, we love you, pal. We'll see you. We'll talk to you soon.
My 91-year-old mother.
Nice.
There you go.
Thank you, guys.
I am so upset right now. I don't know what came over me. I overbooked myself once again. I had to take Nelson to get his vaccines today at the vet, and I also had to take my mom to get her first dose of her vaccine. And I don't know what happened or why I did this, but Nelson ended up getting Pfizer, and my mom ended up getting rabies and Bordetella.
Phil, what an amazing, great guy.
Oh my gosh, he's got a heart that is just so. I mean,
Yeah.
as big as Texas, man. He's just awesome.
Just amazing. We're gonna set that up. We're gonna do a whole hour of dog rescue on this show. Listen, we got Richard Marx coming up in just a second. As we talked about earlier, this is show. I think this is our 220th show, Phil. Since we started this thing, when COVID popped up, back in March of 2020. We've had so many amazing guests on this show when it comes to performers, musicians, magicians, celebrities, entertainers, you name it. We've been doing these flashbacks on the show. We did one last night with Tommy Davidson. You and I were hosting over the summer. Suki was still off. Here's another one, and then we're going to talk to Richard on the other side. Take a look.
It's a Suki and Scott Show fantastic flashback.
Whoa, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years, Suki. Do you still love me?
Love me. Tony, let me see if I got it right for a second, and you kick it in. You ready? Hey, girl, what you doing down there? 1 floor below me. You don't even know me.
Well, you skipped the line.
I did. You do it.
Hey, girl, what you doing down there? Dancing alone every night while I live right above you. I can hear the music playing. I can see your body swaying. 1 floor below me, you don't even know me. I love you.
Oh, my darling.
Not 3 times.
I can't believe you two know those songs. I love you.
It's a Suki and Scott Show fantastic flashback.
Oh, my darling, not 3 times.
Philly, kid, you ready for Richard Marx?
I can't wait, man.
Singer, songwriter, author now. He's got a new book out, Stories to Tell, a memoir. Let me give you a little preview, and then we'll bring him in on the other side. Take a look.
I got to be honest, I wasn't ever thinking about writing a book. It all happened so organically. I started doing solo acoustic concerts. It was just me and a piano and a guitar and an audience. And then I realized that the other component that I needed for those shows was stories. I've always been an incredibly private person. But in the process, I started to feel a little bit more comfortable talking about my life and my childhood, my family, my parents. When I was 18 years old, Lionel Richie heard a cassette of my first 4 songs. He called me on the phone, and he changed my life. Welcome to the big time! I was a professional background singer when I get an offer to come and sing on a Madonna record. I'm thinking, she's the biggest star in the world, so there's no way she's going to be in the studio, right? Wrong. It was like looking at the sun. I had one particular goal in writing this book. It was to be conversational. I wrote it as if I were just telling it to you sitting having a martini. And the moon is high, and the sun's on your skin tastes sweet.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Dickie Boy Marx in the house.
Nice.
What's up, gentlemen? How are you?
Good,
Richard,
good.
how are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Are you on the West Coast right now?
Yeah, I'm in LA.
Oh, okay. Were you ever lived in the Connecticut area, or no? Was that just in my head that I thought maybe you're never in Connecticut? Okay.
No,
how
had
you
some
doing, man?
great times in Westport, Connecticut, but never lived there.
Never lived there. Okay. How you doing, bud? Thanks for coming on, man. It's an absolute honor to have you.
Well, you apparently had some incriminating photos, and here I am.
And I've got them all lined up here on the show too. You'll see them
whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Listen, man, you obviously just a phenomenal career. Let's start right out with the book, because the book has gotten some tremendous accolades right now. It's already a bestseller, and we saw you in that video talking about why you decided to write this book. And obviously you've worked, when you look at your career, you've collaborated with so many people, and you do have some great stories to tell. And everybody who's even just a music fan, a Richard Marx fan, an entertainment fan, getting a little behind the scenes look what the hell goes on, and what kind of business it really is. Not too much different from the broadcasting world. But listen, what's it been like for you now that how long did it take? Where was your favorite place to sit and write stuff down?
Oh, well, it's been a really long process. It was never, writing the book was not a particularly intentioned thing. It was just, it started 8 years ago. Like I say in that clip, I started doing these, I still play with my band all the time, but I started doing a lot of shows, just me as a sort of like a troubadour, solo acoustic, me and a guitar and a piano and the audience, and that's it. And that is ripe for storytelling and kidding around with the audience and treating the shows as if we were just out having drinks. And I have some pretty amazing stories. I've had some crazy stuff happen to me in my career and life. And so I realized along the way that in between each song, when I would tell these stories that was cracking the audience up, every one of those stories was its own chapter of a book. And so I started just jotting things down, thinking that I was just going to write a book maybe someday about career stuff and about these things that had happened to me, collaborating with people. And the real honest answer is I didn't get serious about it until about 1.5 years ago when I got a book deal. that sobered me right up.
Yeah. Hey, could you write the book?
And Simon & Schuster came into my life and started working with me. I had a great editor, a guy named Sean Manning, young guy. And the answer to your question, though, is for up to that point, I would just write whenever I felt like it, whenever I felt like, oh, that would be a good story. Or I'd be hiking with my wife and I'd think, oh, that's a good one to put in the book. But then I started getting a little bit more disciplined with it. And I started to, we spent the bulk of the pandemic at our house in Malibu, which is right on the beach. Break out the world's smallest violin, by the way.
Right. Tough place to spend the pandemic.
Such an idyllic, gorgeous place. And I found myself like waking up early and having a coffee and opening up the laptop. And instead of waiting for inspiration, I just got dedicated to just spending 3 or 4 hours straight just writing. And I've never done that with songs unless I'm writing with someone else, where you have to schedule, like if Keith Urban and I are going to write a song at, 4 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, we have to show up and write the song. Otherwise, they write themselves in my brain. This was very similar. It was like, I'm going to really focus on this and I'm going to get this thing done.
Nice. Hey, Richard, I'm a huge fan of yours, have been for many years. And, I know you're involved in a lot of charity work and for different groups, including wounded veterans. And I got to say, on behalf of veterans from the bottom of my heart, thank you for the charity work that you do and bringing that kind of stuff to the forefront. One of my favorite songs, my wife and I's favorite songs of all times, Right Here Waiting. And I can remember, years ago being gone in the military. And that was one of her go-to songs, Oceans Apart. And every time I hear that song, it brings back the memories from those times. And when, I would have to leave her and my kids, and it just brings back so many memories. And I think a lot of people, your music does that for us. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Oh man, that's so nice of you. I feel like the men and women I've met in the military doing charities and events and stuff like that, I have benefited probably greater than they have. And I've met some of the most astounding people and heard stories like that. It's humbling. I remember, that song was a hit around the Gulf War. And that song became this theme to so many people who were separated by what was going on. And every time I'd meet a different couple, sometimes it was widows, who said that was our song. It's just absolutely humbling.
Yeah. And I told my wife, I said, hey, guess who's going to be on the show? Richard Marx. And she said, Oceans Apart. I mean, she just started singing it, man. So yeah.
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
give her a hug from me.
Listen, Richard, you know, he's being modest. He's our resident singer. The guy's got like 100.
Tell the guy's like he's singing it in tune.
He's got 100 million views on his page, and I want you to take a listen to this for about 50 seconds, and come back. Give us your authentic, like we're on American Idol. I want some real judging here, right?
Okay.
Here you
If
go.
it sucks,
Here
if
you
it
go.
sucks, lie.
Here you go. If it sucks, you tell him, Richard. Here we go.
Okay.
Now I can rest my worries and always be sure that I won't be alone anymore. If I'd only known you were there all the time, yeah, all this time. Until the day the ocean doesn't touch the sand, now and forever, I will be your man.
Send that boy to Hollywood. That's what I would say.
Little country version for you, right?
Yeah. Nice vibrato, strong.
Thanks, buddy. I love your stuff. That's the only reason I can sing it halfway decent.
Thank you, brother. You did a great job.
Give the gold ticket. Listen, let's talk more about the book, because you got a couple great stories in here. The one that kind of struck me, you know, when you look at the summary of the book, you have a story in there about Kenny Rogers, who kind of he gave you like one line to a song, and like he wanted 50% of the proceeds from the song or something like that. What song did he give you the line for? And what happened? Did you end up giving him half?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Doesn't sound like a bad deal.
All right. Well, look, you know, I write about it in the book, but it's a story that, you know, it happened when I was 19 years old. I was fresh in LA, you know, from Chicago, and I was getting some work as a background singer. I was trying to get a record deal, which didn't happen for years, but I was making a pretty good living as a background singer. And I started with Lionel Richie, who gave me my first job on a record and was just, and is just one of the most amazing people in my life.
Yeah.
And he, you know, he was really tight with Kenny Rogers. He wrote Lady for Kenny Rogers. He produced Kenny Rogers a couple times. And so he recommended me to Kenny, and Kenny was starting to make a new album. And so Kenny's people hired me for 2 days on an album. And I showed up the first day and I sang on a couple of tracks, and they were really pleased with what I did. Kenny was there. He was producing the record with these other people, and he was very nice, but all business, you know. And I overheard him telling his producer that he said, I still need one more ballad, man. I need a couple of songs, but I need a ballad that says this and does that. And I heard this knowing that I had a session again with him the next day. And I went home to my apartment and wrote this song called Crazy. And I came back the next day and I did exactly what you should not do if you're a background, which is go up to the artist and go, hey, I'm a songwriter too. Because that's a good way to get your ass fired and thrown out the door. It's not cool.
Right.
But I was like, and I knew that it was risky, and I was really scared, but I just thought I got to go for it. You know, I felt like it was a good song, and I felt like it worked. It was right for him. And he was, instead of throwing me on my ass, he sat down at the piano and made me play it for him. And he really liked it. And he said, hey, what if you change this one word right here to this? And I go, yeah, that's easy. Same note, whatever. And then he took 50% of the song and was my co-writer. And it's just how it was done. You know, I mean, like it goes back to the Elvis days, and like Elvis Presley's name is on a dozen songs that he had nothing to do with.
Right.
In Kenny's case, he knew I was this green kid who was new, and you know, I'm sure he probably would have caved at some point, but I was just like, even at 19, I thought, how cool is it? I'm going to be a co-writer with Kenny Rogers. And then I ended up, he did 2 more of my songs on the same album, and the song went to #1, and it started my songwriting career. And we joked about it literally until the end of his life. We were friends to the end of his life. We lost him a year and a half ago, I guess, or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he used to joke with me. He'd say, you know, Richard, I still don't remember writing any part of Crazy, but I love getting the money.
Hey, I got to ask you about you know, one of my favorite artists of all time. I know a lot of people working with Luther Vandross, and tell me how that collaboration came about, and you know, what was he like to work with?
And that led to a Grammy, by the way, for Dance with My Father, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I had, by the way, just before you answer that, Richard, you know, I have a buddy of mine who, you know, we were at Zach Brown concert last week, and he saw you were coming on, and he said, "Ask Richard." It was a similar question to Phil, but it was what he wanted to know. Ask Richard, what was the inspiration for writing that song, and how come you gave it? How come Luther sang it, and you never really did, right?
No. Well, I mean, I started doing it in the last several years in my concert. Yeah. But no, that was so I met Luther in 1991 backstage at the American Music Awards. I was a huge fan of his, and he claimed to be a fan of mine at the same time. So there was we gave each other a hug. I was so thrilled to meet him, and we just clicked. We just hit it off and became friends. He lived kind of near me. My oldest son had just been born, and he came over for dinner, and we just became buddies and hung out all the time. And then he came and sang some background vocals. He offered to sing background vocals on this album I was making at the time. Wow. And I remember saying to him, dude, that's like if I mentioned that me and some buddies have a pickup basketball game in the park on Sundays, and you're Michael Jordan, and you
right.
need somebody to fill in for you. So we did some work in the studio together, and then he asked me to write a song with him for his first Christmas album. And so we wrote the song that became the single called Every Year, Every Christmas. And it was easy, effortless. The song was a hit. A couple albums later, we wrote another song that he recorded. And then he rang me up 2003 and said, I got an idea for a song called Dance with My Father. That's all I've got. It's just a title. But I want to write it about my father, who he had lost his father when he was young, like 12 years old. And one of his most vivid memories of his father was his dad coming home from work and dancing around the kitchen with Luther's mom and the kids. And
that's great.
And Luther was really helpful to me a few years earlier when I lost my dad. And he was such a good friend to me and really helped me through that horrible time. And he said to me, you're the only person I can write this with. Because he knew I got that. He knew that I really was in touch with that father-son thing. And so we wrote that song. He went right in the studio, recorded it, mixed it, called me, said, this is the most important song of my life, of my career. And then 10 days later had a stroke. And
that's wild.
Sadly, didn't live much more than a year, but he did live to see us win the Grammy. He couldn't go to the awards or anything like that. But that song, being a part of that song, being in his life, being able to call him a friend for those years, I couldn't do that song. I would get asked to do that song so many times after he passed, and I just couldn't do it. It would make me so sad. I miss him a lot. But then, I don't know, about 5 years ago, I thought, what a dumbass I'm being, because I should be singing that song every show so that no one ever forgets Luther Vandross. And I make it a thing where I talk about how funny he was, and it's a beautiful part of my show, and I'm so proud to have been his friend and write that song with him.
You want to do a little of it now?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's really a piano song, but
oh, you're gonna do it? I was only kidding. That's great.
Get another chance, another walk, another dance with him. I'd play a song that would never, ever end. How I'd love, 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 dance with my father again. It's not really a guitar song, but
wow,
that's it.
Good. That sounds great. Listen, speaking of a guitar song, I want to take you to Australia for a second. Let's take a listen. We'll come back on the other side.
Promises in vain,
real, but in disguise. What happens now? Do we break another rule? Let our lovers play the fool? I don't know how to stop feeling this way. Hold on to the night. Okay, Sydney, it's all you. Let me hear you. Hold on to the memory. Nice! I wish that I could give you more, that I could be yours.
Not bad, that.
Not bad at all. And you know, we've had guys like Dennis DeYoung on, and we've played videos like that. And I've asked Dennis the same question, and some other, Rick Springfield and some folks we've had on. That's got to be amazing for you to be up there, and all these years later, the audience is still singing in sync with your songs, man. They know the songs inside and out, because at least for me, your songs came out when I was in my early 20s. So that's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just that the songs are still, they hold up today, man. And people my age are still out there singing them.
That's really nice of you. Yeah. I mean, look, if anything, doing it at this stage of my life, I'll be 58 next month. I have an even deeper sense of gratitude about it,
Yeah.
Because now there is this, I realized, just like when I was younger and I would go to, or even now, if I go to see a performer whose songs I've been listening to and into for decades, and they mark parts of my life, it's hard sometimes for me to put myself in their position, even though that's what I do, because at heart, I'm still a fan. And when I go see Rod Stewart, like, he's taking me on a ride through my life, And so I appreciate it now in a way that I maybe didn't before. And yeah, I'm just so freaking grateful that people still come out to the shows and all around the world, and even places where they don't speak English particularly well, they sing along with every song, and it's just like this gigantic party every night. And when people ask me sometimes, about the grind of touring, or I hear sometimes people say, people think it's all fun and games, but being on the road, and it's hard. And I always go,
It's not
the truth is, what I do for a living is I go up in front of a huge crowd of people and let them love me. That's what I do for a living.
Yeah, right.
You're not going to hear me bitching about that.
Right. Yeah. No, it's not as hard as they make it out to be. And you, of course, married to Daisy Fuentes. You guys have this podcast, Tequila Talk, that you've been doing. Now, Daisy and I did a show with her way back when. She wouldn't remember it because I wasn't really any fame or fortune back then. Now I'm very famous and very rich.
Clearly,
down here in my basement. I was the announcer for the Thanksgiving Day parade on CBS. I think she was one of the hosts.
Oh yeah, you told me that. Yeah, you mentioned that.
Back in the day, and I had met her, but again, she wouldn't remember that I was there. She was already MTV famous and the whole deal. But I remember being it's the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Here's Daisy Flint, So,
right.
As soon as I saw the pic, I forgot all about it, and then it kicked in when I saw you guys. I'm like, oh my God, Daisy and I did the show together. But you guys, again, I've seen articles about the two of you where it says, Hollywood's coolest couple and so on and so forth. And now you guys have this great podcast that everybody loves, Tequila Talk. What is it? What do you guys discuss on the show?
It all sprang from, it was a pandemic thing. I had done a podcast for a couple of years that was all about talking to musicians and songwriters. And I just kind of got burned down on that a little bit and was taking a break from that kind of stuff. And what Daisy and I started to do sort of a couple months into the pandemic was we would go on our social media. We'd go on our Instagram Live or our Twitter Live, whatever, Facebook Live, and talk and take questions. But it would always start with us having a tequila. We love martinis, but really tequila is our drink.
What's your favorite?
So, Don Julio and Yeho is our go-to.
Nice.
But it really sprang from just us having a couple of tequilas and talking about nonsense or whatever was on our minds. And we saw that all these people seemed to be really into it. And then this production house reached out and said, can we just have you guys do this once a week? And so that's really what we do. We just,
right.
One night a week, we do exactly what we do almost every night of the week, except we turn on a microphone. That's it.
Tequila and BSing, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It's so great. I love it.
That's awesome.
Listen, that's what we did with this show. We turned on Zoom one night, and next thing you know, I think Jerry Springer came on with us, which led to celebrity after celebrity after celebrity, and then 210 shows later, here we are, loaded up with folks who are just incredible entertainers like yourself. Now, I know you did some stuff with BJ Thomas. Who of course passed away recently. I pulled something that I thought you'd like, was really cool, because Phil was in with me last summer. Suki was doing some stuff on TLC. Mm-hmm. We had the honor, I think it was maybe September, October, but not too far before he passed away. Phil and we actually had the chance to do one of his last interviews. He came on the show with us. I pulled this little clip, which I thought you would like. Take a look at this. And then I want to talk about, your relationship with him on the other side. Wow.
Okay. And just like the guy's feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head and they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun. And I said I didn't like the way he got things done. Sleeping on the job, those raindrops are falling on my head and they keep falling. Yada, yada, yada.
Can you give me a couple quick bars of that one?
Which I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. I'm hooked on a feeling, high on believing that you're in love with me. I don't think I got it in the right key, but it was close.
I mean, just the nicest guy.
Human being.
Those songs take you back to your childhood, and
made me break out this. This is a text I got. We were texting each other 2 weeks before he died.
Oh, I saw that, and the great thing is that I took, because Phil and I, we had him on for about 45 minutes, so I took the show and reposted it and sent it to our streaming, sites for like a BJ Thomas memorial show, and I was just so glad we had it, and I was just so bummed to see that he passed away. I was like, oh man, he was just the nicest guy. Would have sang anything he would have sang anything we had for him. And he was just so happy to hang out and talk.
I only knew him a few years. He is probably like 8 years ago ish. He did this thing called the Living Room Sessions, where he did sort of unplugged versions of his hits, but he did them as duets. Vince Gill was on it, Kebmo, a couple other really great people. And his people reached out to me and asked if I wanted to sing a song with him. And I went, of course. And they said, well, BJ was thinking that maybe you guys could do, hey, won't you play another Somebody Done Somebody Wrong song?
Oh, yeah, great.
I grew up loving that song. I mean, I love BJ anyway. And I was like, I don't even need to refresh on that one. I just know it, So I went to Nashville and we recorded it together. And then when the album came out, he called me and said, brother, I hate to even impose, but I'm doing the Grand Ole Opry in a few weeks, and I would love to. I'm doing 3 songs. I'm doing Raindrops, I'm doing Hooked on a Feeling, and I would really like to do that song with you. And I flew to Nashville, and we sang that at the Opry together, and it was he's just the sweetest guy in the world. Sweetest guy.
That's amazing. Love that song. Hey, Phil, you sing that all the time on this show, I think. Won't you play another, right?
Somebody done somebody right.
Great
Man,
song.
I love that song. I love BJ Thomas, man. One of my icons.
He was a real gentleman. He was a really elegant man.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Richard, listen, you got a couple more minutes. I know we kept you a little
Yeah,
longer.
yeah. For you?
All right. For busting my balls on Twitter.
Oh my God, that was fun.
Speaking of which, I know you know, because I follow you on Twitter, and I love when you bust the humps of the politicians, man. Because I know you just, you love shoving that knife in there. But some of the things these people tweet out, and Rex Chapman, I know, is a huge Twitter guy, and it's like some of the stuff that it's such a cesspool of crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wake up in the morning, you scroll through for 2 minutes, you're already, you feel like you got to take a shower. But I just love when I see you just needle you. Someone will Rand Paul or one of those guys will write something and you'll retweet it and write, "This is why you are the dumbest F in the country." And I just, because you have no fear about it, and it's like, it's true. You're writing what most people think anyway, and it's so fun watching you do that to these guys, and it cracks me up, because they must go back and look at it and be like, Jesus Christ, Richard Marx has a huge following. he's ripping me on Twitter. Now I look like a total tool. But it's like, I mean, do you go on there and you're just like, got one right here. Here's a Rand Paul, here's a Ted Cruz, I'm going to get this guy.
Look, I've ripped them on the other side too. I'm not a party guy. I'm not affiliated with any party.
Yeah, it's fish in a barrel. It's fish in a barrel.
It's just that right now, the team on the right is just wow. For me, it's just like when you look at these characters, some of these characters are just, and so, well, look, you can't, I know some people who get so into the Twitter thing where they really walk around with it all day long and sleep in it. And that's just, it's not healthy. When I see something, especially that I feel is damaging to public safety or the public good, and a total mercenary move by a politician, of course I'm going to call it out, but I'm going to try to do it in as humorous a way as I can. I mean, sometimes the language just goes nuts, because that's just, I'm like I would say out loud to their face, like, what the F are you doing? Like, what is wrong with you? But I think it's important that you temper it. So, a lot of the times that I tweet stuff, I'm making fun of me. I make jokes about myself all the time.
Right.
And I don't take any of it seriously.
No, you can't.
You can't take politics seriously. And the only thing that I say is, there comes a point when the only time it's not tongue-in-cheek or not humorous is when it comes to someone being openly racist or bigoted or hateful towards or trying to minimize people. I was just raised to speak out against stuff like that and to rail against it. That is the only time that I take it seriously, where I will call somebody out for real. But Twitter is just such a cesspool is the word I use all the time.
Oh,
Scott.
yes, it's a cesspool.
And it's like one of those things. It's like, I call it a cesspool, and yet I wade in it from time to time.
Right.
So,
oh, yeah. We're all swimming
what does that say about me?
Yeah. No, all of us are in there. It's.
I mean, along the lines of speaking your mind, and you have a lot of opinions and lessons that you could teach people with your long, amazing career, which doesn't show any signs of slowing down. I like to ask people this question: if you were going to give a piece of advice to a young Richard Marx just starting out, or anybody just starting out, what would you tell them?
Celebrate more. That's the only regret I have my heyday as an artist. When I say heyday, meaning like I'm having hit after hit on the charts, and for like roughly 10 years I could do no wrong. Every album was multi-platinum. The hits came, left and right. World tours. All I remember about that time, to be honest with you, is work. Is I took it very seriously. I took the work very seriously. When I started dating Daisy, we were having a conversation on the phone one night. I was off doing a show somewhere, and we were still getting to know each other. We were early days of me courting her. And we were on the phone late at night, and she said, so I have a question. When you were having all those hits, hit after hit after hit, and all that stuff was happening to you, how did you celebrate? And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I mean, like, okay, you had a #1 album, right? And I said, yeah. She said, how did you celebrate that? I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. She said, well, did you have a party? Did you have a dinner? Did you? I said, no, I had a gig the next day. I was like, and she was mortified. She said, oh my goodness, how could you, like, think about what you did?
Yeah.
And she said, I think it's time for you to start celebrating.
Gotta have some fun.
And it really has. I now do this thing now where tomorrow, for example, Thursday, the 12th, is the anniversary of Right Here Waiting going to #1 on the charts in 1990, 89 or 90. And we don't do a big deal about it, but we definitely break out some Don Julio, or we have a nice dinner, and we toast it. And I do that for I've been lucky enough to be the writer of 14 #1 songs. And I now have in my calendar the dates of when those songs became #1, and we celebrate it every year.
Now, tomorrow's the anniversary?
Yeah.
Wow. And that's how many years?
74 years ago, I wrote that song.
Nice. Nicely done. I got to ask you, can you give us about a minute of it in celebration?
Oh, Right Here Waiting, yeah.
Last thing I'll ask you to do.
Never been asked to sing this one before. Let's see.
No, very original.
By the way, Barbra Streisand asked me for a song.
She did?
Back in 1988, right after I had written this song. And I was starting to make my second album, Repeat Offender, which was a rock album. And so I felt like this song didn't belong on that album. Plus, it was really personal. And I never had any intention of recording Right Here Waiting. And when Barbra Streisand asked me to pitch her a song, I thought, oh, well, I'm not going to do that song. Maybe Barbara would like it. So I sent her the demo of it. And she called me the next day. This is in my book. She called me the next day, and she thanked me, and she said, it's a really lovely, lovely melody, but you're going to have to rewrite the lyrics because I'm not going to be right here waiting for anybody.
That's unbelievable. I bet you she's pissed you didn't take it now.
No, she did just fine.
Yeah, she's doing all right.
Oceans apart, day after day, and I slowly go insane. I hear your voice on the line, but it doesn't stop the pain. If I see you next to never, how can we say forever? Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. Whatever it takes, or how my heart breaks, I will be right here waiting for you.
And it's not quite in tune, that guitar, but
Not bad, not bad. Everybody loving it. Listen, Richard, you keep going. You're gonna make it in this business if you just keep plugging along. You'll be all right.
Thank you.
2 more quick things before you go. I'm gonna pop up a couple quick picks. You tell me what's first thing that comes to mind. Here you go.
Oh, I don't even need my glasses for that one. 1984. I'm in a studio. I think that's Capitol Records. Wow. And I had met Dolly a few times, and I did work with her a little bit on this Christmas album she did with Kenny Rogers, and I sang some background vocals on it, and she and I just hit it off. She was just the best. And that picture hangs in my house, and it probably gets the most eyeballs and comments of anything else. Yeah.
Wow, I love it. I love it. How about this one? You and Marie.
Okay, so I had a big crush on Marie Osmond growing up, And then this is probably like 7 or 8 years ago. I did a Christmas album, and one of the TV shows I did to promote it was her show. And a week before I did the show, she said, "Would you be interested in singing a duet with me?" And I went, "Are you kidding me?" So we did Santa Claus Is Coming to Town on her show. And she is just a sweetheart. I love her. Love her to death.
And by the way, this is this year, right? August 27th, you and Rick?
Yeah, 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. Wow, that's some dynamic duo right there. Rick Springfield, Richard Marx, the 27th. Nate, what is it? An amphitheater type of deal?
Yeah, it's a place in Modesto that's like an outdoor amphitheater. It's a pretty big venue, and I think right now I'm a little apprehensive about going back to doing gigs because the numbers are just surging everywhere.
Coming back, yeah.
But as of right now, we're on, and Rick and I go back, 35 years we've been friends, and we started touring together a few years ago. And he tours and I tour, but every once in a while we get together and we do. Usually it's a handful of shows. Right now it's just this one, but we're going to keep playing until one of us drops. And I love Rick, and we have so much fun together. We do songs together, and then we each do our own set.
No, that is the perfect double header right there. Here's a guy I'd love to get on this show because I am a huge Kiss fan all my life. And Paul Stanley's back out doing some new stuff too.
Well, not only is Kiss, back out, but Paul did an album last year, the Soul Station album. And, this is an interesting thing. I met Paul for 10 seconds back in the day in the early 90s, but I never ran into him, never knew him. And then during the pandemic, one of the things that I did besides Tequila Talk with Daisy was I started doing a similar thing that you guys are doing, where I did some YouTube interviews with various people. And Paul and I had a mutual friend, and so I asked him if he wanted to come on and do a little chat with me. And we just clicked. We just hit it off. And we started texting each other all the time. We couldn't hang out because it was COVID. And so we didn't actually meet until about, I'd say, 5-6 months ago. We went and had lunch together. We finally met in person. And we had lunch for 2.5 hours. And then we went to lunch again a couple weeks later. And it's so rare, I think, especially for men, I think. Maybe it's true for both sexes, but I think it's particularly rare for men to find a new friend later in your life.
Well, I found Phil.
See?
Yeah. He sent me a message on Twitter.
There you go. And it was really as simple as that. And we just saw him last weekend at his house, and now the four of his wife and Daisy, we've hung out together, and he's like my new brother. And I love the guy.
That's great. No, that's great. Listen, tell him you had a great time. I'd love to have him on, but
I'll put a good word in.
Finally, I know you had up on Twitter, and I thought this was a great thing. Before you go, did you ever figure out what the best Paul Newman movie was based on your Twitter responses? Phil, what's your favorite Paul Newman movie? If you had to go 1, 2, 3, what's the number one Paul Newman movie?
What's a Paul Newman? I can't think of any names of them. I've seen them all.
You got Cool Hand Luke.
Cool Hand Luke, the one where he ate the 50 eggs.
I would say Cool Hand Luke is number 2 for me. Number 3, if there was a 3, 2, 1, and this is really, really, really tough, but number 3 would be The Verdict.
Good movie.
Number 2 would be Cool Hand Luke, and number 1 would be Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, because it's my favorite movie of all time. I can't turn the laptop around, but I'm in this little movie theater we have in the house, and I'm surrounded by movie posters that I've collected over the years. And I'm looking at right now. There's a poster of Butch and Sundance. Yeah,
love it. Yeah, and listen, raindrops in that movie, but
yeah. And I had to go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You go, Richard. Go ahead.
I also, I had the great honor and pleasure of spending some time with Paul Newman over the years here and there. We were never what I would call pals or friends or anything like that, but I had some time with him, like doing some charity stuff. He asked me to sing at one of his charity events, 2 of his charity events. But the last time was maybe 6 or 7 years before he passed. And he was just, I tell everybody, they go, what was Paul Newman like? And I go, he was exactly what you wanted him to be like. He was that cool. He was, no matter who was in the room, if Paul Newman walked in the room, he was the coolest guy in the room. He was gracious, such a fun hang, funny. And I feel really honored that I got to know him a little bit.
Yeah. Listen, I would throw, I have a Slapshot poster right over here, off to my left with all my WWE stuff.
That's another great one. HUD.
Great, right?
Okay, let's talk about it. Absence of Malice, HUD, Long Hot Summer, Color of Money, but the better one is The Hustler.
I love Towering Inferno.
I love
that.
On. The guy just made so many really great films.
Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah. Richard, listen, man, thank you so much for coming on, bud. This was amazing.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
And listen, everybody, the book is out, Stories to Tell, a memoir, Richard Marx. And it's, listen, he gave you a little tease. There's some great stories in there about other celebrities, stories from behind the business. And listen, man, have fun going out on tour. Stay low, stay sanitized. And we love you, pal. Keep doing it, my man.
Thank you, guys. All the best.
Richard, thank you, pal.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Philly Kid, what a great guy.
If you'd have told me 220 shows ago that I was going to get to co-host and meet some of the people that I'm meeting on this show, I would have said, yeah, right, whatever. And now I've I just got through talking to Rick.
If I would have said to you, Phil, you're going to sing a Richard Marx song for Richard Marx.
Yeah, I'll be like,
you would have said, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind, right?
Not.
It's so funny, man. Well, listen, we had Richard on for almost an hour.
Wow, man,
which was amazing. And Michael
great
Levitt was on earlier.
Yes.
Michael, what a great guy, man. What a fantastic dude. We're gonna do that dog rescue thing, Phil. That's gonna be a great show for us to do.
Yeah, I want to.
Because listen, we'll get everybody going, and we'll see. Hopefully, we can get some dog. If we get one adopted, it's worth us doing an hour show. And I think it would be great. Maybe we get some celebrities to pop on.
Oh, yeah.
Right. We'll do something like that. Would be really cool. I'm going to set that up with Sharon and we'll work that out. But anyway, listen, we've got some time. We've still got some time left. It was an amazing show. I mean, Richard Marx sang Dance with My Father again.
Wow.
He sang Right Here Waiting for You. I mean, last night we had Sophie B. Hawkins singing Damn, I Was Your Lover. It's unbelievable, man.
It's no wonder that the Suki and Scott show is the #1 show in so many streaming services.
Wait, Phil, did you mention #1?
#1
as in #1, like this #1?
Yeah,
on Stir? Is this the one you're talking about?
In the Stir app, it's #1 above such legendary shows like Heartland, Showtime at the Apollo, Deal or No Deal, Forensic Files, The Johnny Carson Show, The National. Hey, I mean, look at it. I mean, people from around the globe.
Look at it, people. Look at it.
I mean, celebrities from around the globe are clamoring to be on the Suki and Scott show, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
Real good. By the way, I think I got all 100 clips into the show, Phil. I think I got every clip. I didn't get this one in. Him with Tony Braxton.
Wow.
I didn't get that one. And here's a tweet he put out with Burt Bacharach. They were singing something together. And I also, you know what? I'm disappointed we didn't get to see his dog. There's Richard's dog right there. But we got them all in. I got every clip in, I think, all 100 of them.
Yeah, I love that guy. You think about, I was thinking the whole time, I was like, this guy looks just as good now as he did in 1989.
Absolutely.
Probably better.
I mean, look at him. I mean, yeah, he had the hair, but that was the hair back then.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Lean, a lot of hair, chiseled looks.
Good looking dude. What are you gonna do?
I'm sure the ladies in the audience would agree.
Magazine covers and
wow.
Yeah. By the way, Richard was married for a long time to I forget her name, but the young lady, she was in Dirty Dancing. She played, she was Johnny's good friend. She got pregnant from the kid. I can't remember her name now. I just lost her name, but they have kids together. Philly, you looking that up?
Yes.
Yeah, I forget what her name was. She's a gorgeous girl.
Cynthia Rhodes.
Yeah, Cynthia Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
They were married for a while. They got divorced, and then of course he met and got married to Daisy Fuentes. But yeah, they have some kids together. But yeah, I mean, Dirty Dancing, she was phenomenal in that movie. And it's all good, man. We got shows come now. You're not with us tomorrow night? Is that what I understand?
No, I've actually got another kind of an awards type get together, for my police career.
Okay.
So I will be doing that tomorrow night instead. I will not be able to make the show.
You'll be here in spirit.
In spirit, yes.
All right, listen. We can't end the show without you singing. So because you always you're like nobody puts baby in the corner. I always do the last dance of the summer. You always do the last song of the night, my friend, no matter what big time musicians are on the program.
Yeah, you did that flashback earlier with Tony Orlando, so that kind of inspired me to do a little Knock 3 Times.
One of our biggest duets.
Yes.
Light it up, baby.
Hey girl, what you doing down there? Dancing alone every night while I live right above you. I can hear your music playing. I can feel your body swaying. One floor below me, you don't even know me. I love you. Whoa, my darling, knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me. Yeah, twice on the pipe if the answer is no. Whoa, my sweetness means you'll meet me in the hallway. Oh, twice on the pipe means you ain't gonna show. If you look out your window tonight, pulling the string with the note that's attached to my heart. Read how many times I saw you, how in my silence I adore you. And only in my dreams did that wall between us come apart. Oh, my darling, knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me. Oh, twice on the pipe if the answer is no.
I'm coming home, I've done my time. But I've got to know what is and isn't mine. If you receive my letter telling you I'll soon be free, then you'll know just what to do, Phil, if you still want me. If you still want me. Go, Philly.
Oh, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do you still want me?
Want me?
If I don't see a ribbon round the old oak tree, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us, and I'll put the blame on me. If I don't see a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree, yeah.
Bus driver, please look for me, 'cause I couldn't bear to see what I might see.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really still in prison, and my love, she holds the key. Simple yellow ribbons, what I need to set me free. I wrote and told her leave. Philly!
Yeah, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do you still want me?
Want me?
If I don't see a ribbon round the old oak tree, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us, and put the blame on me. If I don't see a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree.
Give me the next line, Phil, quick.
Now the whole
damn bus is cheering, and I can't believe I see 100 yellow ribbons round the old oak tree.
Tie a ribbon around the old oak tree.
Come, tie a ribbon around the old oak tree. Tie a ribbon around the old oak tree.
Nice.
Yvonne Burns, it's her birthday on Friday, Phil. You want to give her a little happy birthday?
Yeah, here we go, Yvonne. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Yvonne.
Yvonne Burns.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, Candida, we can make it together. Together we're here now forever. And it's there in my heart. Go, Philly.
Oh, Candida, we could make it together. The further from here, girl, the better. Where the air is fresh and clean. Whoa, Candida, just take my hand and I'll lead you. I promise your life will be sweeter. And it says so in my dreams.
Nice, Philly kid. Great show tonight. Really, really good show. Michael Levitt, Richard Marx on the show. Just fantastic stuff. Listen, what could you say? Show just keeps rolling along. Listen, here's the deal. We got a new rule. Here's a new rule.
Okay.
Phil doesn't sing anymore until everybody goes on this site, heroforlife.us, promo code USA1, 20% off all items, and proceeds are going to disabled vets. We need everybody to go log on, check them out, get your shirts. Got a lot of great stuff. I got my shirts. I got a couple different. We got one with the same exact logo, and right? That's a cool one. But they have everything on the site, so go check it out. That's what we're here for, ultimately. Heroforlife.us. USA1, the promo code, 20% off. It's really, it's a nice deal. And Philly Kid, excellent job this evening, my friend. And
whoa, good night, sweetheart. Yeah, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We hate to leave you, but we really must say, oh, good night.
Good night, sweetheart.
Good night. Now I can rest my worries and always be sure that I won't be alone anymore. If I'd only known you were there all the time, yeah, all this time. Until the day the ocean doesn't touch the sand, now and forever, I will be your man.